Recording progress. Got it. Welcome back, Mike Taylor.
Yes.
He will be announcing where we can buy the New York Times bestseller, Introduction to Geometric Algebra and Geometric Calculus by M.D. Taylor, first edition. We'll read it and write a layman's guide to an introduction to geometric algebra and geometric calculus.
Well, the closest you get to a layman's guide is probably a paper by Alan Macdonald called A Survey of Geometric Algebra. But you've got to know a little bit about vectors and maybe a little bit about linear algebra. And the book, my book at this point, I know you can get it through Barnes and Noble, and I think there are a few other distributors that are starting to show it on their catalogs.
When you order it through Barnes and Noble, then they go print it out on a 3D printer or something like that?
Well, it's printed by a place called Lightning Source.
Lightning Source.
You put the order in through Barnes and Noble, and that goes to either Ingram Spark or to Lightning Source, and they print the book and then send it out.
And it takes only 2 to 3 months.
I have no idea what the delivery times are. I'm sure if you spend an extra $50, you could probably get it delivered within the week.
Well, let's celebrate Mike's, what is it? Mike's publication of an introduction to geometric algebra and geometric calculus.
Yes.
Why is both geometric algebra and geometric calculus, why not call it geometric mathematics? Then you'll save several words in the title and it'll become a bestseller.
No, it is the sort of thing which is only gotten by people who are enthusiasts in certain restricted areas. And if I use geometric mathematics, they wouldn't recognize it as dealing with geometric algebra, and they would pass it up.
Oh, so you're targeting it to a special market.
Yes, to a certain group of cultists.
Hundreds. So we have to find the specialists who deal in geometric algebra and geometric calculus.
Mm-hmm.
Not or, but and. It can't be one or the other. It must be and.
Well, if you've done calculus, you know that you probably had to study geometry or analytic geometry beforehand. And then in some sense, you applied the tools of calculus or you adapted algebra to calculus and you started combining the two things. And that's what happens here. You have the geometric algebra, which you have to get some idea how that works. And then you start figuring out how to adapt this geometric algebra to doing calculus type problems on what you might call curved spaces, not necessarily lines or planes, but spheres tori, what have you.
So on a sphere, on a globe, when we travel from New York to London, we should travel in a curve to get there sooner.
Mhm.
Why is that? Maybe through Mike Taylor's book, we can prove that it's shorter.
Well, that was proved a long, long time ago before anyone thought about geometric algebra, because there was a great financial incentive.
But there might be skeptics. There might be people like who are saying this is a conspiracy. They're trying to get us to fly in a curve, and they're saying that it's a shorter distance in time. But if you look at it on the globe, well, no, on a map, a flat map, it's curved, and then, aha, this is conspiracy. They're making us stay up in the air longer than we need to. Why? They're infecting us. It's causing cancer by being up in the ozone layer too long. So, but we need Mike Taylor's proof that from New York to London, it's shorter if we fly kind of towards Greenland and then come down.
A great circle.
A special arc. What do you think, Central Florida Philosophy Meetup? So what have we learned today? I have uncertainty about Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. You know John von Neumann?
Von Neumann, yes.
A
Very famous
mathematician who was the leading edge of many of the most dramatic developments in the 30s and 40s. He developed the logical basis of modern computers, so we wouldn't be able to do this meetup on Zoom without John von Neumann logical basis. And he also covered strategic game theory, so we wouldn't have won the war. Let's see, von Neumann was not satisfied with Bohr's or Heisenberg's interpretation.
Step away for just a minute.
Are we being recorded? Yes, we are. He continued to press the point at which precise moment in the process of quantum measurement does the electron wave change into an electron particle? Let's think about it. So he came to the conclusion that it is our mind that causes the change from wave to particle.
Yeah,
so
the wave collapse.
It's waves, and then when we observe it, it becomes a particle.
Well, that was von Neumann's suggestion, that this wave collapse was a particularly mystifying part of quantum mechanics, and he suggested that somehow or other consciousness choice was involved in this wave collapse occurring. Now, we really have no idea of how to decide whether that's true or not, we just don't know how to fit consciousness into our theoretical framework or how to do measurements on consciousness, although we can measure such things as brain activity.
I got it. We can observe the experiment while drunk or while on a drug, a hallucinatory, and then we'll see it as a particle and as a wave. We will become a Buddha, omniscient.
Omniwaval.
Von Neumann reasoned that as the experiment proceeds, the electron passes through the experimental apparatus and hits the recorder, causing a stimulus on our retina. Looking at it, the observer's eye and brain is still physical and so must be regarded as part of the measuring set. But in the end, where is the consciousness? Each point of the process is itself a physical event that must be governed by quantum theory and that cannot therefore itself be responsible for the change from wave to particle. The only special moment in the whole process is the moment at which the experimenter becomes conscious of the result of the measurement. This then must be the point at which the electron wave actually becomes an electron particle. Therefore, it is the consciousness of the observer that is causing the state of the electron to change from being one in which its position is the indefinite to one in which it's definite. It is the consciousness of the observer that reduces the electron wave to an electron particle. Although von Neumann remained reluctant to accept the consequences of his logic, the view that consciousness creates quantum reality was championed by other eminent physicists, in particular Nobel laureate Eugene Wigner. So,
Hiro,
our
I think I'm going to have to leave because I got some stuff I've got to go do.
Like eat breakfast and go to the bathroom.
Well, eventually, but I have some stuff to do before even eating breakfast. But it was good talking to you. And what I want to know, what I hope you will describe to me later, is the point at which the amplitude wave of this discussion collapses in your mind into an understanding of what's going on.
Into a single pointed concentration through meditation and concentration. We will determine everything.
All right.
Mission.
Good seeing you guys, Dom. Good seeing you. And you had some interesting points to make, and we'll see you people later. Take care. Bye.
We'll see you later, and we'll find your book in Barnes & Noble. This portion has been sponsored by, no, it hasn't. Let's see. So what do you think, Dom? So, like I was saying, I'm reading from this book called Shifting Worlds, Changing Minds, where the sciences and this philosophy called Buddhism meets, by Jeremy W. Hayward. And he, so this, oh, someone's knocking at the door. Welcome, Mac Latinci. who is still in Happy Valley, Labrador,
Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Goose Bay.
Yeah, there it's I don't ever fully understand it because I just arrived yesterday, but it's some kind of a joint community.
Joint? They smoke weed?
Well, they probably do that. I think it's legal here, but it just the name is both.
No. They consolidated their differences.
I suppose.
As we will call this corporation Gyro Jamgang Powell Maclaptop Vinci Central Florida Philosophy Dom Luis Del Pino Mike Taylor Mike on the Bike Incorporated. Yes, I was reading from the Gospel according to Jeremy W. Hayward. Let's see. His book is an invitation to people who feel some anxiety at this lack of authenticity in their lives and worlds. A sort of blankness of heart in the midst of activity, yet who also feel that genuine discovery of joy is possible.
Well, I was trying to do a minor discovery in my life to give it meaning, and I was trying to discover what it was you're wearing, Jairo. You appear to have some kind of a robe or a sack. Oh, it's a sack. What's it? I've never noticed you to be wearing that before.
Look, I can make my head disappear.
Well, you're not making it disappear. It's only being blocked.
Oh, wow.
Does that have a specific name or purpose?
It's green, so anything green disappears. Oh, this is a bag.
Yeah, but it's not some kind of special purpose bag or has a meaning or anything like that.
Oh, let's see. Somebody gave it to me.
Oh, nice. Okay, I was just curious because I've never seen you wearing it before, so I didn't know it was some kind of specific purpose.
I've been using it to throw sweaty clothes after playing tennis.
Oh, okay, so this is a specialized bag which comes from Tim Hortons, and it came from the Happy Valley Tim Hortons yesterday.
Tim Hortons is a restaurant. No, what is it?
It's a coffee shop. It's an iconic Canadian coffee shop where all existential philosophers drink their coffee. If they have Canadian citizenship. Are all the mics gone?
Meditations for loving relationships. It's a CD. Remember those? Put it
Yeah,
on.
they don't put them in cars anymore. And we really missed it on this trip because you can't get any radio stations. And we don't know enough about technology to use USB music and so on.
In the background, that is a funeral. So what? So what would you like someone to stand up and say to the people attending the funeral? What would you like them to say about you? Yes, I remember Joel when he was coming to our Zoom meetings, and he was a very funny guy and would show us Canada Yes, now we know where Happy Valley something Bay is. What's it called?
Goose Bay.
Goose Bay. Now we know where Happy Valley Goose Bay is. And someday I'll put it on my bucket list to go to Happy Valley Goose Bay so that I too can be happy.
Well, I, for one, would like to see someone in the front row shout out with joy, "Look, he's moving."
Yes, we
That-
will play this recording of Zoom and people will see Joe still there or memories of Joe and say, wow, he was a happy guy in the Happy Valley. Let's see. What do you think, Central Florida Philosophy Meetup? Or Rami? They are shy this morning. Dominic is shy too.
They may be talked out. So
Oh.
we have a dilemma. We can't find a motel room in Churchill Falls.
Oh,
And I don't know what's going to happen when we get there, if we get there.
oh,
It's a bit difficult to camp out. The black flies are big enough to carry you away.
oh.
Although it's a paved highway, that now seems to be the least of our worries.
Oh. Maybe it's this one. No. Oh. Oh. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one. That's the wrong CD. Maybe it's the next one. There.
Careful, Hyro, we might get flagged.
Oh.
Copyright
Rami
violation.
back. Welcome back, Rami. Thanks for recording this wonderful episode. What round is this? 3?
I guess, yes.
We're listening to Meditations, Loving Relationships.
Who's the copyright holder?
There are theories about the purpose of intimate relationships.
Oh.
Perhaps one or more of these theories can be helpful to you in your quest for knowledge about you and your relationships. Certainly it's possible for all of us to deepen our relationships and make them more fulfilling, joyful, useful, and loving.
Practical.
One theory sees relationship as a classroom and our partner as a teacher for us.
We're next room. Wake up.
In one way or another,
Clearly, classroom.
he stimulates or even pushes us to face the truth about ourselves. So we have the opportunity to use what we see in our partner and how we react to her in our own personal and spiritual growth. A second theory postulates that we are attracted to someone who is similar to, or occasionally, nearly the opposite of, our opposite sex parent. Is the relationship that you are in at this time with someone who is similar to your opposite sex parent?
Which theory do you subscribe to? Did you marry your mother? But why were you born to the family you were born into? Was it because you were attracted to your mother?
That makes the assumption of pre-existence prior to conception.
So if we pre-existed prior to conception, could it be that we were looking in the bedroom of where your father and mother were having sex, consensual sex, were aiming to get pregnant, and you were hovering around them and you say, wow, he's beautiful. So you dove in to the egg when it united with a sperm, and your conscious embedded itself into the egg and decided to become male because you were attracted to the female. If you had been attracted to the father, you would have been born female. But what about what causes gayness? You were attracted to your father, but nevertheless, you got a male body.
So this line of questioning operates out of the system of belief that says that that you were a conscious entity prior to your conception. And the conception is the idea that your consciousness began once the genetic material of your father and your mother came together, and that your consciousness is a development out of that conception, when the sperm reached the egg and formed a zygote, a unique entity of your particular species, a particular individual, and the non-dualists that like to think themselves in touch with the state-of-the-art science would say that consciousness is an emergent property of the physical. But you're coming, you're giving us a line of questions out of the spiritual or religious belief that consciousness is pre-existing, and that we actually chose the person that we are prior to our own conception. And I'd like to know, on what grounds do you make that assertion, which then enables you to ask all those questions, and how do you know that that assertion is in fact reality?
This is all too practically oriented for me. I need something more abstract.
Because there is no birth and there is no death. There's only individuated minds incarnating and exiting over and over again. Oh, the meeting will end in 10 minutes.
Okay, so is that the result of being exposed to the Vedas?
Yes, and yes, Vedic philosophy posits that we have no beginning and we have no end. We are what actually exists, and we're creating this virtual reality, this matrix, and we embed ourselves into this physicalness. We're a spiritual being experiencing material virtual reality, fooling us into thinking that we are merely a material body. And so we go through the death process and we exit out and we seek another body. And they go, aha, there's a couple having sex there. I'm attracted to the female. So I inject myself and then I'm born male because I was attracted to the female. Except I don't know what causes it.
I don't know that a woman could have come up with this system because only a man would think to stick himself into something.
Oh. Only a man, did you say only a man could think of this? So back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I think most women accept reality because they tend to be more connected with it or to it. It's a monthly reminder once you enter womanhood that you are tied to the world that you're in and the cycles they're in, as are we if we are in touch with that part of ourselves.
Oh, so women are more physical and men are more mental and therefore dualist. They want to say, no, we're not physical. I am not this body. I am pure mind.
Well, we're contentious because that, you know, if you get married, the wife will sure you're not.
Look.
Yeah, right.
My mind says point or pick up the cup.
Well, men are contentious. We're contentious beings. And what we do is we reject other people's reality and insert our own. That was
when the woman decides to pick up the cup, it is not her mind that decided, it was her body.
Well, yeah, and do you notice that it was actually your body that picked up the cup too?
Oh,
each of us has a feminine and a masculine within us. These are aspects of reality. But not only do we reject other people's systems, but we're often, something about us is that we will go out and create a completely new thing. Well, I don't know if it's completely new, but it's how we think it ought best or most be done. In other words, we create implementations, and women are capable of doing this too. And oftentimes they'll make implementations that are much better than we ourselves come up with. But we tend to go out and blaze the field, and at least start something and maybe complete that thing. And I think that's part of why God in the Christian tradition is represented as a father and as a carpenter, because here's someone who sets out upon a task and completes it. He completes the good work in us. Okay, so you're making like the affinity symbol with the thing that changs the bell. Okay.
This is feminine principle because it's empty. This is the masculine principle because it likes to stick in the things. It's always amazing.
I noticed the two are connected.
Emptiness, it's empty. it can be what it wants to be.
Hmm.
This one wants to be in what business?
Okay, so where do you want to go with all this?
What do you think, Dominic?
I enjoyed that, Remy. Sorry, so this way I won't mispronounce your name. That he was talking about both the masculine and feminine within ourselves. That would be a nice conversation to go with him. If you guys want to go on that.
In relationships, do we marry that which resembles most like our mother, because we're still sexually attracted to our mother, so we seek a partner that is remote of our mother? Did that happen to you, Dominic or Rami?
I would say there's a lot of yes, in that inquiry. Yes, I think so. I think it's a bit of both. But yes, we were in the womb for 9 months, whether it's, we call it sexual energy or something else. Yeah.
I find the recording to be a little pop psychology and somewhat simplistic, although at the time of its recording, it may have represented something that was new for the people listening. In the case of why I chose to marry my wife, I noticed that, well, first of all, I recognize that I'm the kind of man who needs to be married. And then when it came time to choose who to marry, I think that the women they're actually the ones who have more power than the men. They tend to be the deciders, at least in Western culture, in terms of who they're marrying, because all the man has to do is go along with it. But then the man still has to decide, am I going to marry this person? And when I considered the person who I did choose to marry, I thought, well, I'm going to meet some really interesting people that I wouldn't ever meet otherwise. And I really love this person. And I feel like, and it could have been an illusion at the time, I felt like she got me. And still today she does. So, but we're still exploring and learning new things about ourselves 17 years into our relationship. So it doesn't end.
Well done. Yeah, I can relate a little bit to some of the things you're saying. Women do probably manifest, whether they're aware of it or not, their attraction to what kind of mate that they want. There's a lot to be said about that cycle that you were talking about earlier, that they visit every month. You know, how a lot of it's connected to the moon in some ways. But what I also got from that was, for me anyway, is I feel that I'm always growing and challenging myself. Whether it gives the impression that I'm actually taking a couple of steps backwards, is still some sort of growth in there while I'm with the person I'm with. What do you think, Jay? Since you posed the possibility or the inquiry, do you think that we attract the opposite gender when it comes to our mothers?
I feel like I'm married to my mother now. I have to take care of her. But it's fun. She's easy to take care of. She's only 99 years old, and she thinks she's 26, sometimes 16.
Well done. Well done. To be able to have that